Welcome to the Real Estate Black Book, the Buyer Edition. Today, we're going to talk about the multiple offer process. Now, you're probably thinking, obviously it's the person with the highest price that gets the house, right? Not true. I've been beaten by higher prices, and I've been beaten by all cash offers. So here's the first point. Your agent can either get the deal for you or can kill the deal for you. I've seen both sides. Now, when I'm a listing agent, I get calls from buyer's agents and they start arguing with me in the first few minutes. Just think about that. If they're already arguing with me, just imagine how messy this gets in down the road once we open escrow. And it happens more often than you think, by the way. But on the other hand, sellers also have to watch out for buyer's agents who agree to anything just to get the house. It's really funny how fast things change at the first sign of trouble. You know, a few leaky sinks and they're ready to back out of this deal completely. It's crazy. So what can you do as a buyer to get the house? The first thing is you need to be working with one agent. There are a million reasons for this, but today I'm just going to cover a few. Number one, some buyers think writing an offer with the listing agent is going to get them the deal. I call these buyers listing agent groupies. But if these agents are as ethical as they should be during the multiple offer process, they don't represent both sides during negotiations. They'll usually bring in another agent to help negotiate for the buyer. So if the listing agent refers you to another guy, not only are you not getting the inside deal now, but you have no idea how many other buyers that this agent is representing. He could be representing and writing offers on 2 or 3 more buyers on that same house. But if you do happen to get the deal directly with the listing agent, odds are not only were you the highest offer, but you were probably much higher. That's because the listing agent's allegiance is to the seller, not you. You need your agent to sell you as much as he sells your offer. For instance, I've been working with Ricky for 3 months. He's got his head on straight and he's very reasonable. We've written a few offers together, but this is the one that he really wants. And then your agent follows up like crazy to keep your offer front and center. Second, besides having a loyal agent, you need a rock star lender. Most decent agents, they'll send the pre-approval with the lender, but usually never they'll elaborate on the strong points of the offer. You know what I do? I usually have my lenders personally call the listing agent. And those good agents, they'll appreciate this for one big reason. The only thing more important than getting the highest price possible for the seller is finding the buyer that will actually close. When sellers are reviewing offers, it can be super stressful to look at a bunch of random names and a bunch of random numbers and try to figure out who's solid and who's not. If your lender really is a rock star and you advertise that fact, your offer is as good as cash. I've seen my lender make such a good impression on a seller one time, they actually used him to get their loan on their next house. Okay, the last thing. After buyers send in their offers, one of 2 things will usually happen. The seller will either accept one and they'll open escrow right away, or they'll send back the multiple counter offer. Most buyers are going to assume these days that they get a multiple counter offer back, so they just throw a number out there just to get their foot in the door. As a listing agent, I like to use the multiple counter offer because you never know who's going to step up. Sometimes it's that little engine that comes in barely at asking price, and then by the end they are way up and they beat everybody. So you just never know. Other listing agents, they don't do that as much. They have a hard enough time answering the phone on the weekend. So sending back multiple counter offers to a bunch of buyers is way too much work. And for that reason, getting this multiple counter is not a guarantee. More and more, I'm seeing sellers just pick the highest and best offer in the first round. So like I said, it's not always about the price. This means you need to come in strong right out of the gate. You need to get that price up, you need to shorten those contingencies, and you need to get noticed. But there's only one way to do this, and this is to write with confidence. That means you better know the neighborhood, you better know the prices, you better know where they're headed, and you better know the comps. Now, notice, I said you better know the comps, not ask your agent about them. Have you been inside any of these homes to really understand the prices? And if you haven't, or if you're not at least familiar with what they looked like when they sold, it's like comparing 2 bowls of spaghetti just by looking at pictures. It doesn't work that way. Okay, now I could talk for hours on this subject, but this is just enough to start getting you thinking. So to recap, 1, you need a good agent to make the right first impression for you and keep you front and center. Number 2, you need to have a rockstar lender in your corner to back you up. And number 3, you need to write strong offers up front, and that means coming in with confidence, knowing the house. Okay, so that does it for today. Be sure to tune in next week when we talk about online search tactics and how to find the best deal out there. I'll see you then.